Hello, I'm Sean Taylor and I worked on the Indifference project. I decided that I wanted to do a horror marketing campaign, as it gave me more versatility on how to create different atmospheres and appeal to a target audience. Me and my partner Matt Race worked on the original concept for Indifference through the summer holidays, but due to several problems the original was not carried on. We first decided that the original was going to be a murder, but then we decided to go on to do some research to different styles of horror, and thought that perhaps a paranormal route would be a good story to follow, as it gave it more psychological depth. When I first started working on the new project, I realised that I would have to do a lot of focused research on the semantics and the syntactics of horror conventions to really grasp what it was I would need to make a powerful marketing campaign for my movie. First of all, I did a lot of extensive research into trailers, looking at how the semantic conventions of horror films often persist of dark and isolated places.
On the wall.
Yeah,
The sooner the house is sold, the sooner people can move on.
So I thought that, like a film called Paranormal Activity, we should try to break that convention and locate our film in a mundane and normal location for an audience, i.e. the home. Using this place, which was normally thought to be safe and secure, it would create a threatening and fearful approach for an audience, which broke normal conventions, which is also a very good effect to have for a stereotypical horror. I noticed that in many other trailers they used different special effects, like one in particular, The Devil Inside. This trailer in particular used subliminal footaging that added more of a supernatural feel to the trailer, made it connect more with the audience and gave it that unconscious fear to the audience, which I tried to replicate in my trailer through the use of the antagonist, the little sister demon ghost.
Hey guys, parents out this weekend if you guys want to come.
In terms of my trailer's conventions, I used an eerie voiceover from two actors, which isn't really used in many horror trailers, as most sound is dialogue from the actors.
So, you're from London, trying to sell Eel Marsh House.
Yes.
You won't find a local buyer.
Which is seen on screen and then made to use as a sound bridge to connect with a different clip. However, I managed to use this voiceover as if it was dialogue, but not showing the actual phone call in the film. This left an uneasy feel and presence to the viewer,
I need your help.
and because of its serious and strange tone to both the voices, it left it fresh in the audience's mind at the end of the trailer.
Okay.
I thought it worked very well to recreate the conventions of fear and suspicion in an audience which didn't necessarily have to follow the traits of a typical horror. However, I did use sound effects to follow the traits of a typical horror film through the use of discordant sounds which were unpleasant to the ear, like The Devil Inside where a bone breaks, or, in my trailer, like the harsh ghost scream at the end of the first tunnel scene.
Watching me.
This is a really impacting sound as it shocks an audience and creates a little bit of fear and tension with them. It also followed with a range of unnatural effects, some of which were commented to make the audience feel very wary towards what was happening on screen, which is a good response. I tried to make my protagonist stand out from the antagonist by representing them in full black costumes that stopped the audience seeing who they were and making them feel very intimidating, like a typical horror, and made the audience feel unsure to who they were. And contrasting with this idea, I had the protagonist wearing lighter clothes like the grey jacket seen at the beginning of the trailer, or towards the end, contrasting the dark horror figures with her pale and lifelike complexion. This also matches the conventions of horror trailers, as the protagonist wears lighter clothing and stands out more, and the antagonists are either wearing bland, dull clothing or very strange clothing which isn't very natural or meets how normal people wear their clothes. I thought that in terms of my syntactic conventions, the trailer was rather distorted, making it harder to follow the storyline, but still had this really enticing element to it, where the audience wanted to find out more about the trailer. I did some research into syntactic conventions, and I found that some horrors consisted of the protagonist meeting an unfortunate end. I thought this was interesting, as it didn't always happen with most horrors, but I thought that by applying this, by hinting that the protagonist was going to reach a threat at the end of the trailer, could be quite a good way to bring in an audience. And I did this through the use of the demon ghost child at the end, where she jumps at the camera, which I showed before. Where she's jumping forward at the camera like the Paranormal style or the Devil Inside subliminal messaging. And I thought that it worked very well to create tension and made it stand out more.